Today we start new series on symbolism, as it was announced, and it will go on, and there will be many presentations on different aspects of symbolism. And today I would like just to introduce this topic in a general view, yes? So to say all the elements or some of the elements which we will be discussing in detail later. So I will make a projection and let us see how it works for us. Do you see the projection? This topic is huge, and of course it relates and connects us to the course which Jayashri so beautifully presented on sleep. And those symbols, what we see in the dream world also, they will come up with Sri Aurobindo's commentaries. There will be a special session dedicated to the symbols in the sleep world. But I will give today an overview on symbolism, which is quite an amazing topic in itself, and most probably deserves more attention than we usually pay to it. So if you look at symbolism in general, for example, these symbols of Sri Aurobindo's mother's symbols, yes, what they really represent. We will come to them in the special session separately. But these two descending triangles I will be mentioning again in the next slide, and the mother's 12 qualities, 12 different colors. They are symbolic. They represent different powers of consciousness. So what Sri Aurobindo says on symbolism is important. A symbol is the form of one plane. So the symbol is the form of one plane that represents a truth of another. For instance, a flag is a symbol of a nation. But generally, all forms are symbols. And this is an important statement, because what does it mean all forms are symbols? Forms are symbols. So everything which has a form, which has an embodied state of being in some form or another. So this idea of the form is fundamental, because all the forms are. Again, I hear echo, so sorry. So the form is actually, there are two things, form and the meaning of the form. Yes, when we see any form, we see something, and then we understand the meaning of what we see. I usually show whatever is here on the table. We see the mobile, and when we see the mobile, we understand that it is mobile not by only the form. Form is a symbol of something which it can do. It can call, it can send a message, it can receive the message, it can communicate, connect with people. So this connecting is the meaning, whereas the phone as a form is a symbol of that meaning. So in that sense, this body of ours, says Sri Aurobindo, is symbol of our real being. And everything is a symbol of some higher reality, of the higher meaning. There are different kinds of symbols. Sri Aurobindo speaks of them, but I want to clarify this point here. In more details, I made some notes for myself. Here they are. We can call it a manifestation. Everything which is manifested in the physical form is actually a symbol of some other reality behind it, yes? When one being, which had no form, who is formless, gets its forms in time and space, then the meanings of the oneness are projected into and manifested through the forms. And their relations reflect the oneness of that being. So those relations become the meanings. How this phone can relate to me, how I can relate through the phone to you. So all those meanings are connecting us into one meaningful reality. Yes? But they are separately standing, as it were, and that's why they are symbolic of a specific meaning. So Sri Aurobindo speaks on 4 different types of symbolisms. Conventional symbols, such as Vedic rishis formed with objects taken from their surroundings. The cow stood for light because the same word go meant both ray and cow, and because the cow was their most precious possession, which maintained their life and was constantly in danger of being robbed and concealed. But once created, such a symbol becomes alive. The rishis vitalized it, and it became a part of their realization. It appeared in their visions as an image of spiritual light. The horse also was one of their favorite symbols, and a more easily adaptable one, since its force and energy were quite evident. It's not very evident why the cow means the knowledge, but there is something more to it. The milk, for example. Milk is associated with knowledge, yeah? And then butter, and then clarified butter as our transformed mentality by the spirit. All those elements are connected to the cow for some reason. Then there are other types of symbols, and this is the life symbols, such as are not artificially chosen or mentally interpreted in a conscious, deliberate way, but derive naturally from our day-to-day life and grow out of the surroundings, which condition our normal path of living. To the ancients, the mountain, for example, was a symbol of the path of yoga, because we have to climb up and up, level upon above level, peak upon peak. You remember in Savitri Sri Aurobindo says, on the height he stood that looked upon greater heights. On the height he stood that looked upon greater heights. And this is exactly those heights or levels of consciousness we have to achieve in our journey. A journey involving the crossing of rivers and the facing of lurking enemies, both animal and human, conveyed a similar idea. Nowadays, I dare say, we would liken yoga to a motor ride or a railway trip, or maybe even aeroplane trip. Yeah? That's what those who are dreaming all the time that they are journeying, they are progressing in their consciousness. Symbols, and there is one more type, symbols that have an inherent oppositeness and power of their own. Akasha, for example, or etheric space, is a symbol of the infinite, all-pervading, eternal Brahman. In any nationality, it would convey the same meaning. Also, the sun stands universally for the supramental light, the divine gnosis. I have several references to Sri Aurobindo's literature. You will read more on the symbols. You will find very interesting overviews by him. And there is the last type of symbols, which he mentions, mental symbols, instances of which are numbers, alphabets. Once they are accepted, they too become active and may be useful. Thus, geometrical figures have been variously interpreted. In my experience, the square symbolizes the supermind. Of the triangle, too, there are different explanations. In one position, it can symbolize the 3 lower planes. In another, the symbol is of the 3 higher ones. So both can be combined together in a single sign. And we can see this in the sign of Sri Aurobindo, yes? Descending and ascending triangle. And in between there is this square, which symbolizes the supermind, which connects the ascension and descent of the spirit, calling and answer. We will come to the symbol more in detail later. There are also numbers and geometrical figures, and these are quite significant. This is a universal language which is applicable to all nations, cultures, and traditions, regardless. It can be Indian traditions or Abrahamic religions or any other cultures and nationalities. So we can see that one is one, and it is a dot or this circle and dot, yes, comes out to say, interestingly. And two is a line because there are two ends of oneness. And notice in all these forms, the oneness is maintained in geometrical figures. So 3 is already oneness in 3 different corners, 4 in 4 different corners, 5 in 5 different corners, and so on. There is more to say about this. I will not speak on it today, but I will have a separate session on it. And it would be interesting to look into the occultism and Kabbalistic tradition, where these symbols will play a very significant role. So there is a famous Pythagoras treatise where he starts in this way. 1 is 1, 2 is 3, 3 is 6. And these are only 3 sentences. 1 is 1, 2 is 3, 3 is 6. And what it says, it's quite interesting, that 1 is the only number which is identical to itself. 2 is not equal to, it equals 3. Why? Because the 1 is implied in 2 already. So you have already, on the ground of first fresh perception of things, to have 2, you will have to have 1. So if you have consciousness as 2, which perceives the being 1, then 3 is automatically the result. And 3 is nothing but what we call Ananda, Satchit Ananda. Ananda is the result of the being conscious of itself, yes, so to say. So the being who is conscious of itself is full of delight, of Ananda, bliss. So this is the first family, 1 plus 2 equals 3, and you will never find this formula anywhere else, because 2 plus 3 is not 5, it is 4 next, you see. So the order and the meaning of the number is perfect in 1, 2, 3. It's the first family. Then there is 4, 5, 6. Next family, I will come to the families of numbers. Here it is, the system of numbers and laws in the occultism, Here they are. 1, 2, 3, first family, 4, 5, 6, next family, 7, 8, 9, next family. And it is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 only. Because 4 is nothing but 10, according to Pythagoras, yes? So 1 is 1, 2 is 3, 3 is 6, and 6 plus 4 is 10, and 10 is 1 again. 1 and 0 is 1. And so on. The 7 is 28, and 2 plus 8 is 10, and 10 is 1 again. So we have 3 families, 1, 2, 3 in occultism, and they repeat themselves in the next and next cycle. You can see 10 is 1, 2 is 11 is 2, because 1 plus 1 is 2, 12 is 3, and so on. You will see that it dances through the whole range of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 times 3. This is the foundation of our numbers. And these are symbolic numbers because they have meanings behind them. I was already mentioning this before when I asked a professor of mathematics to explain to me what is one. Because I told him I understand what is two. Two is two ones. If you put two ones together, you have two. You put three ones together, you have three. And he told me, you know, you ask me the most difficult question. Nobody knows what is one. Because one is the only number which we choose at will. This is the secret of the one. Yeah? You can choose this as a one, this distance, then two will be this distance. If you choose this as one, then two will be this distance. So you can choose any one and you will start counting different system. Yeah? But one is chosen at will. If you choose the whole system of coordinate as one, where is two? So one, it seems, is the biggest number in the system. It's a surprise, yes, we thought it is the smallest, but it is the biggest, because one is one. One equals one. It's the only number which is identical to itself. It's uncrackable. It is unknown to us. It is the thing in itself. You know? And this symbolism, I'm just unfolding one symbolism of the one. Two has its own. It's a power. It's a duality. It's a tension between the two polarities which creates the field, the force. Two is always the symbol of the force and so on. So in the system of occultism, they have meanings of this kind by which the whole alphabet, and why I wrote 22, because there are 22 letters of Hebrew alphabet and 22 arcanum, 22 laws of existence. There are other symbols, colors, and these colors also have symbols. We will dedicate special session to these, to the mother symbol. So I will jump straight into this one. This is the Huta's picture of the levels of consciousness and being which was guided by the mother. The mother gave her the direct description of these colors, and so she made this drawing. So inconscient is dark blue turning into the black even. The physical world is red, bright red like blood. The vital world is purple, dark and dark blue. The mind in general is blue. The higher mind is little lighter blue. The illumined mind is even lighter, like sky blue. And then there is a shift into intuitive mind, which is totally yellow. Then there is overmind, which is mixed colors, all kind of colors mixed. And then the supermind, the golden, the bliss world is saffron color or rosy saffron, like they wear this, you know, cloth in India, the sannyasis. And then we have consciousness, which is pure silver, melted silver, and existence, sat, is pure white. And unmanifest, asat, is pure white, and then beyond there is unknown, supreme. But if you look at the colors, they are important for as symbolic representations of consciousness and power. Mother speaks how she chooses these symbols. We will speak about this later. I want to go straight into this. What Sri Aurobindo says on colors and flowers. So the light colors, flowers, are always seen when is a working of the forces within at a certain stage of the sadhana. When we see the light or colors or flowers in our visions or dreams, these would be the significances of the development in sadhana. The light of course, indicates an illumination of the consciousness. The color, the play of forces, mental, yellow, physical and vital, but forces making for enlightenment of these parts of the being. The flowers usually indicate the psychic activity. This is Sri Aurobindo's quotation. So I just chose from the mother, her description. There is the whole text which I give you, which the reference to which I will attach, that where you will read more in detail. So white signifies spiritual, and all white colors mother will give some spiritual significance, or in relation to the spirit of the divine. Golden is supramental, as we saw in the levels of consciousness. Pink is psychic. Yellow is mental. Blue and purple, dark blue and dark purple, vital. Red, physical. This is something typical for all the flowers and levels of consciousness. Interestingly, these two symbols, these two flowers, white lotus and pink lotus, symbolize Aditi, the Divine Mother, white lotus, and Avatar, the pink. And notice in the Avatar pink lotus, there is something, is there, this golden center. Yeah? There's supramental flavor within this pink, which represents the Ananda, the supreme Ananda. And also pink is the color of the psychic being. So Avatar is an embodied divine, whereas the Divine Mother is pure white. Yes, this is the description which is given here by the Mother of Significances of Colors, which I already mentioned. You can read this for yourself later. I'm going ahead. So now I want us to have this kind of experiential part of this presentation. I will, if everything what we see in this world is symbolic of some deeper significance or some deeper event, and connects us to our psychological or spiritual reality, what would you see here in this picture? What comes to you? Keeping in the mind that everything is symbolic. If you see it, what does it tell you? You can switch on microphone and say.
The many in one.
The many in one. Lovely, unexpected actually, but beautiful.
Level of consciousness.
Levels of consciousness. Absolutely, also.
It looks to me like it's light breaking through the inconscient, the ignorance.
Beautiful, the light breaking through the inconscient. Yes, Gunhild, you wanted to say?
I wanted also to say the rising of the light means it starts from the dark to the light.
Right, rising of the light, very similar to what Radha said. Yes.
The end of a cycle, the beginning of a new light one.
Yes, the end of the cycle, the end of the darker cycle, and beginning of a new light. New light. This word new is important here. It's a psychological state, new. And it is described that actually the dawn is described in the Veda as always new, ancient and always new. It's quite interesting.
I see a lot of similarities between this and the Hutas painting that you showed, the colors.
Absolutely, interesting. Hues of light, yes. There are hues, there are levels upon levels, consciousness upon consciousness. There is ongoing spelling out of the divine in its infinite qualities. So there are so many meanings in this simple vision of beauty of the dawn. The dawn has the most beautiful hymns in the Rig Veda. Yes, rishis were constantly focused. There are many, many hymns to the dawn Nearly every rishi has one hymn to the dawn. What do you see here from the symbolic point of view as a meaning? You see it, and you see there is a meaning.
This is a super mind. This is a super mind.
A super mind. Look at this figure. It is
No,
on.
this is the arising of a spiritual man. That's the whole chapter in Life Divine. That's what it is.
Yes, he stands on the top of the mountain and he receives the sun. Yes, he waits for the sun. He is in the shadow, he is in the dark, but he receives the light rising from above there. What else do you see?
The ego is the instrument of the soul, of the spirit.
Super, beautiful. The ego is the instrument of the spirit. Wonderful. This the whole world can be reassembled here in this picture, actually. I have more pictures which I would like us to. What do you see here?
Oh, good. Oof.
The ocean, yes, it's like the infinity. And
Total consciousness.
total consciousness. No boundaries. There are some boundaries in the clouds, but they are kind of...
I would say, I think, Madhu, somebody mentioned before the one and the many. So I see the one in the sun and the many in the drops of water within this vast ocean.
The waves, the drops, yes, which are moving. Yeah.
So above, so below.
So above, so below. Beautiful. Blue above, blue below. Yes, so nice. And the light in between.
The golden consciousness enlightening the unconscious.
Yes, the golden consciousness enlightening the unconscious. Yes, Robin.
That's what I was going to say. The light is illuminating the physical world.
Yes. The water receives this light of the sun and takes it in and shines from within with this light. Beautiful. There are more symbols. Somebody else saying. No?
Illuminated vital.
Yes?
Illuminated vital.
Yeah, illuminated vital, yes, because it's in the middle between heaven and earth. Beautiful. Thank you.
There is another point that I may mention. I mean, we are from India. We joined the family, your wonderful family from India. When they see these lights, Sri Aurobindo, I think, has said that lights are powers, and also that light is the essential form of the divine. From that, all these derivatives come to mind.
Right. He says that the light here represents consciousness in the physical world. So this is consciousness in the physical. This is the symbol. This is also the action of consciousness in the physical world. So, yes. Thank you. Here.
We are very happy. We are very privileged to join. We are from India. My son and myself, Yogu. We will be always privileged to be part of our wonderful family, which we meet today. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely. Welcome. Most welcome. So what would you say about this?
Flight of the soul?
Yes.
I would say touch of divine and the nature aspire to be divine for the transformation.
Right. You see the hills, the rocks, they grow into the sky. The sky is closed, but there are beams of light breaking through. There are promises coming down, and there is this flight of our freedom, of our soul, of our choice.
Vladimir.
Yes.
So something really wonderful has happened for me in just the last few moments of being engaged in this great exercise, is that before I would have seen it as a picture and that it's symbolic of, yeah. And I would almost think that everybody else would see the same thing. Right? But now what happens is I'm completely aware that I see a picture that has no meaning whatsoever, and I'm projecting my own understanding onto it to give me feedback to what my understanding is.
Very nice. Very nice observation.
Yeah, that's what's happening for me, because I could see the symbols in everyone else, and then I started tripping. Well, but I can see the symbols in the geometry of the picture. I could see the symbols relative to Chinese medicine in the picture. I could, it's like someone was talking about the picture, one picture, and I was going, well, but what I see is inspiration.
Right.
And then I just became aware that it is a feedback loop that I'm projecting my own mind onto to give me evidence that I'm on the right track to encourage me to go forward, or something like that.
Right.
To train my brain. It's just a lovely exercise. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing. It is exactly that we join the reality. We become part of the reality. We do not see it objectively as separate from us. It is us. And what it is for us, where we are in this picture, we find it there. And it is, the whole world is made like this. These are the meanings which connect all things into oneness. And more we find those deeper meanings, the more we are engaged in the world and fulfilled.
Charles' comment brought to mind something else. As we're all sitting here looking at this picture, we're sort of subconsciously agreeing to narrow our attention to this picture, so the picture becomes the whole world. And if we sort of broaden out and notice, the motley assortment of symbols at the bottom of our screen, or a dust ball over in the corner, when we bring this conscious, there are certain things, no doubt, like the ocean and this mountain, that are beautiful and seem to manifest more of the divine. But if we start to look at everything symbolically, we realize everything is a symbol of the divine, whether manifest or not. And I have an exercise I'd recommend. I love doing this. I don't do it regularly, but open the newspaper. Don't read it. Just glance at the headlines. And what are they symbolic of? And you'll get a whole different sense of what's going on in the world.
Very lovely. This is beautiful. Actually, everything is symbolic. Everything is meaningful. There is nothing which is not meaningful here. Only we didn't have time or attention enough or force of consciousness to see it. It was not in the context which we would see it. But if we focus on it, if we see that, and this is when I was preparing this presentation, I just got a glimpse of this, that everything here is the divine presentation of particular force in a particular connection to other forces, and everything has meaning in its place. And it is not what it seems. Form is only representing the comprehension, the meaning behind it. The meaning is rising from consciousness, which perceives the being in a particular framework and manifests it in the form. And we see these forms, we deal with them constantly, and we think this is what it is. Yes, it is what it is, but at the same time, it is more. It is who we are. We have to find ourselves. I will give some more pictures. What do you see here? We will come to the human world. What is really happening? Yeah, physically we understand what is happening, but what is happening in reality? Amazing. Something amazing is happening. No words to explain. We feel something deep. Yes, there are no ways that you can really easily say what it is. There's so many things to say. So many meanings pile up. Yes, go ahead.
Hope for a future.
Hope for a future. Oh, beautiful. Unexpected.
Who am I?
Who am I? Wow, wonderful.
Self-reflection.
Self-reflection.
It's an immersion in oneself.
Immersion in oneself. Do you see adoration of oneself?
I am that I am.
I am that I am. I am what I am. Yeah. All right. Yeah? Somebody?
No, I was just looking at the colors, and I thought, what's my choice?
All right. What is my choice?
It may be a reflection of my non-yogic lower consciousness, but I'm seeing a lot of, am I enough? Am I good enough? Am I okay?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I see all this. I will tell you what I see. How beautiful I am. What a surprise that it is me. I think we see what we have within ourselves. These images are telling us about ourselves always. The whole world is telling us about ourselves. And look at this.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's very wonderful in every way. What's that?
Exactly.
Who is there? Why is he there? It's very...
Who's there? Who moves with me?
Right. Is
I'm
it
bigger
really?
than I thought.
Yes, I'm bigger than I thought.
Can I get rid of you?
Like Peter Pan, yes? I can step on you. You see, he tries to step on it.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, next one. What do you see here?
Eternal love.
Eternal love. Wow.
It's so close.
It's so close.
The shooting star always reminds me of aspiration.
Shooting star and aspiration, beautiful. But can you imagine the whole cosmos, infinite space and infinite time is over our heads? It's constant. Infinity, lovely.
You know what reminded me right now? The statement of the mother when she said that she was such involved in the sadhana and she was thinking only of the divine, and then she saw the shooting star and she realized that in that year she's going to realize the divine. So it's always a promise, right, to achieve, as Somya said, our aspiration. Beautiful.
Yeah. And you see that small boy there, or girl? He's there to learn about the cosmos above. Maybe he knows more than the mother. Mother tries to teach him something, and he already knows everything because he came from there. He remembers it. Yeah.
The extraordinary beauty of this photo brings to mind, I suspect that everyone here, just even without words, looks at this and feels the symbolic presence of the beauty and radiance of the divine. I just heard recently, some years ago, there was a blackout in the city of Los Angeles, and people started calling 911. They kept saying, there's these strange, like amazing lights in the sky. What is going on? Is there some sort of aliens or some sort of attack? It turns out many people who lived in the city for years had never seen the night sky because the bright lights were so bright, and they were seeing the stars, and they were amazed. Imagine if every night we went out as if for the first time and looked at this, oh my God, what is this divine display?
Yeah, infinite. And
this is a proof that miracles do happen.
right. All is a miracle here. How can it be that we live under such a sky? How is that even possible, in this infinity?
So mysterious.
The feeling of wonder.
Oh, yes. Beautiful.
Wonder.
Wonder. And another, a human one.
Agni Jataveda.
Okay. You know what it is, yes? It's in Auroville. They do this meeting New Year or Sri Aurobindo's birthday. They start in the night, and when the dawn arrives, the fire is already there. Fire is calling to the dawn. Aspiration, collective aspiration towards the divine light. Well, it's quite obvious, the symbol, yes? So maybe I go ahead to something less obvious.
Oh.
So going inwards, going in to find the soul, the inner being.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
The sunlit path.
The sunlit path.
The Divine Mother.
The Divine Mother.
What's interesting is as you focus in more and more to the very end, you actually see a figure of a lady. It's almost like you're following the trees towards the very end start to shape like the Divine Mother herself. Maybe I'm projecting my own.
Yeah, that should happen. That's great. That's what we are doing here. You project what you find yourself in this picture. For me, it's also a protection, the divine protection, the direction, the true direction, which you just follow. Don't need to find the way. The way is opening. And it's golden and it's beautiful. And now let us say, take this.
Oh.
The tree of life.
The tree of life, beautiful. It all comes to me the same.
Yeah, me too.
So what is this tree? When we look at the tree, what it really tells us?
That we are all connected.
We are all connected, beautiful. And notice there are branches to the sky and there are branches to the earth. And there is something, a trunk in between, which connects the branches reaching out to the sky and the roots reaching down to the earth. This is the connecting heaven and earth in a way.
Yeah.
And branches to the sky, they are green, notice. That green, that very color of gratitude. Yeah.
Ever aspiring.
Yes?
Ever aspiring.
Ever aspiring, ever grateful, ever loving light. There was one person in Auroville from the UN. He was from Africa, from Senegal. And he was telling that in their village, they believe that the branches outside the trees are looking in different directions, but underneath their roots are kissing. Kissing each other. So the oneness is deeply rooted in earth. Interesting. But I see the same projection outside and inside. What is above, that is below. Yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They are connected with trunk. The same with, what do you see in banyan tree, by the way?
And the
Ashwatha.
world that we do not see is much bigger than the world that we see.
Mm. You know, it is the symbol of Brahman in Katha Upanishad.
Yeah.
Ashwatha, eternal, because it grows up and then it grows down and it grows up, and constantly, and the whole forest can be built from one tree.
Mm.
What do you see here?
Spiral of creation.
Mm.
It reminds me of Vishnu's Sudarshana Chakra.
Oh, very nice.
In fact, the design of Auroville also reminds me of the same.
Right.
I see yugas.
Interesting. Cycles, yugas, cycles within cycles, within cycles. What a magnificent creation. Look, and all those dots, they can be the same great galaxies behind, infinite. And what do you see here?
Beauty of Mother Earth.
Hmm. Blue planet. In one word, what would you say?
Life.
Life, beautiful.
Love.
Love, even better.
Eternal life.
Eternal life.
Serenity.
Serenity.
Beauty.
Beauty. What comes to me? Home.
What comes to me is mother.
Mother. So we must protect this Mother Earth. So here it is, the references from all these more elaborate writings of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother on Symbolism. I will send you in the file. So I stop my presentation here. So if you have some ideas where you want to go next time, so I would suggest that we could go into the either linguistics, which I can present, how languages work, yeah? What is symbolic about them and where symbolism is coming from, the form of language, and the meaning, the form and the meaning, constantly how they relate. And then we can trace them back to all kinds of languages. Yeah? So musical, mathematical, and linguistic, because it's all about signified and signifier, basically. We will look into phenomenology, if you want, into structuralism, see all those sciences which are operating by these symbols and what they are drawing from them. If we want to go that route. If not, we can go in more experiential way, look into other things such as Jyotisha, Ayurveda, language of Ayurveda, how symbolically it represents the being, and many other ways. Music. There is Don here. He would present to us the musical.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you so much for your graciousness about it. We are entering into an enormous world with you, enormous world. And we were speaking a little earlier about speech. The origins of human speech would be a wonderful topic to contemplate for the humanities unity in the light of those origins of human speech, how it started.
Lovely. So we will next time I will present this topic since I am a linguist in some way.
Thank you.
So
Wonderful.
it would be great. I will take also Sanskrit and Sanskrit grammar and show how it deals with reality, how it builds up the means to access and to deal with reality. And also, yes, go ahead.
Sorry, Vladimir. I have one topic. I don't know if it's of interest to anyone else, but I would love to know more about the universality of archetypes. Right. And especially if there are new archetypes, contemporary archetypes which are tied to the old ones, but that would be a meaning for the new ones. The young ones who maybe don't know much about, the old archetypes, but maybe we could make a link, between what exists now and. But I don't know if that's of interest.
It is of big interest. It's the whole topic. We were trying to think archetypically now, especially in this symbolic way, what this symbol tells to us. Yes, we recognize those archetypes in every image. And we can define them more clearly. We can take Vedic symbolism or symbolism in Savitri as symbols, which are used there. They are the archetypes, yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
Also, I was fascinated by the mathematics, by the numbers that you posted. And I don't know the details about it, but I've seen this on YouTube, is that the distance between, or the diameter of the sun is like 108 times the distance to Earth, something like that.
Right.
1008. And then the same mathematical relationship exists between the distance between the Earth and the moon, the diameter of the moon, the diameter of the Earth, and the distance to the moon. They're all broken down into the number 9 and 108. And so if you could do something about about numbers and how they form the basis of creation, the mathematics of creation, that would be very nice.
Right, we can look into this together. If you want, if somebody wants to prepare and knows something about, fractals, these golden dimension, 108 measurement of the sun and distance from the moon to the earth, and why there is a coinciding the size of the moon and the sun when we see it, fully covering, why the moon is moving around the earth in one particular, facing the earth only from one side. All these are very fascinating topics, yes, and we are looking more into the symbols rather than but we can see the symbolic meaning in them, yes. Great, thank you all for this beautiful interaction. I'm very glad that we started this journey. There will be more interesting things, more details, and I invite everyone to maybe volunteer to present some topic. If it is not the full hour, that it could be 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you have to offer on this idea of archetypes, symbolisms in Savitri, in Indian literature, in Puranas, in Vedas, wherever, in the Upanishads, the faculties of consciousness, the verities. There's so many powers which have to be explained and experienced by us. So we will dive into that in the next session.
We are most grateful to you. Most grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Very grateful.
Thank you.
Vladimir. It was so beautiful.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.